welcome to our 6th episode on the Ron the World Reboot show. And we are having our guest that will talk with us, Aivy Cordova. I don't even know her last name. Cordova. We're just waiting for her right now. So when she comes in, I could actually start. If we talk about something, if we say something funny, we'll keep it. But if she comes in, that will be the beginning of the show, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. Sure. She's gonna text you, right?
Yeah,
okay.
She,
right.
She thought it was 5, and I told her it was 5, but I guess she was driving, so she said she would have been home in 20 minutes when I sent her a message. So that was what time was that? Like 35. That was at 4:35, I think. I called her.
Filipinos always underestimate their time of arrival.
Oh yeah, I used to.
That's just our thing.
Yeah, I remember. I used to always do this until my friend called me out on it. I was like, "Yeah, I'm almost there," and I would literally just be on the computer. and then, so by the time I got to dude, that was like 40 minutes, and you live 10 minutes away. What happened? I'm like, fucking accident. I'm like all the time, and then my friend Kate Davis. I told her the same lie 3 times, and then she had to call me out on it. She'd be like, she's another comic, and we used to do gigs a lot. And she's like, where are you? I'm like, oh yeah, no, sorry, I had to pick up my cousin in the airport. And then the second time I said it again, and then the third time before I even said it, she goes, you have to pick up your cousin in the airport. And so now I was known from like 2004 to 2006. The comedian that always has to pick up someone in the airport, so that's why I couldn't pick them up. I just wanted to be by myself. Oh, she just sent me a message.
Filipino time is like in our blood.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Isn't there Southern California time? Is it like a LA 10-minute, like an hour, Justin? Is it like their turn? Or maybe it was just my family terms
for fashionably late, you mean?
Yeah, I remember we had this term like an LA 10-minute, and they were like, oh, it's going to be about an hour.
LA 10-minute?
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, some sense like that.
Yeah, yeah, people, there's so much traffic out here, so it's like the traffic is a part of the time. So
the same as Manila, though.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the worst. Justin and I were like 4 hours for a 20-minute ride to your uncle's house, and they literally said, "You better pee and buy food on the way."
You're going down EDSA.
So when you say I'll be there in 4 hours, you're not even you're actually being serious.
Yeah, man. Like the airport isn't even that physically that far from my uncle's, but
where's your uncle live?
2 hours. He's in Quezon City.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be far. Yeah, that's gonna be far. If you have if you have K's on, probably go down EDSA to C4. None of this matters. No one cares about this shit. No one cares about this shit.
Except who's that girl that sings "Driving Down C4"?
Ann Curtis.
She has that.
That's a song?
Yeah.
About driving down C4?
Made in the Philippines, Ann Curtis.
Made in the Philippines. You don't know that?
I don't know that.
Relatable it was song. Blaring everywhere in the streets of Manila when me and Justin were walking around.
Really? Maybe I've heard it.
Yeah, it was just like that and Ikaw.
Like that Made in the Philippines song, the Ann Curtis, it's written like a Katy Perry song, and like the music video is like it too. Like they're trying to make it so California or so American or so LA.
Yeah,
because they even have a black DJ. They have a black DJ that raps. Yeah. And they're like, where'd you find him? At the fucking army? At the naval base?
The lyrics literally don't make sense at all. There's this line in there. She's saying how like she's driving down C5, I think it is, and then with the top down, wind through my hair, And I'm like, people
No
don't do that
fucking
in
way.
the Philippines. There's too much pollution.
It'd be
You
like
can't
dirt in your
just-
eyes and shit.
And it's
Plus,
hot.
like,
People have
trucks.
the windows up. Yeah.
Like trucks coming right about to hit you and shit. You would
They
never
got-
do that.
Yeah.
Is this song
And they
in
got the
Tagalog or
windows
in
up.
English?
It's in English. They got the windows up, blasting the air conditioning too. Like that doesn't make any sense. That song.
Yeah,
Top down,
that's a
windows down, wind blowing through my hair. Like, get out of here. I hate the Philippines.
All right. Well, Ivy, we have Ivy's our guest today. Well, she's been on the show before it was rebooted. So she was on an early episode. I think it was like with Edwin San Juan, like like back in May or June. And so far, we went through so many different types of I guess producers, right? And then now we have Ronnie, who's our main producer now. That's Ronnie Ivy. He's born and raised in the Philippines, half Filipino, but he lives in New York now.
Great to meet you. I was also born in the Philippines.
Oh yeah, where exactly?
I am in Quezon City at De Los Santos Hospital, and then before we moved to the States, we lived in Mekawayan.
I was born in St. Luke's in Quezon City, so yeah.
Right on.
It's a little bridge there.
Yeah. And he has no accent because he didn't hang out with Filipinos because he hated them. He goes, no, only white friends for me.
Yeah, it was a weird time.
It was a weird time when I hated my people. You know what's so weird? My friend Ken Katikbak, which is a really crazy last name, Katikbak. He doesn't even know how to speak Tagalog because he goes, my parents said no, don't speak it because you don't need to use it. He goes, we're gonna send you, we're gonna all go to Canada. Canada anyways. So
It doesn't matter.
So how does he pronounce Katikbak then? If he's like, since he doesn't have a Filipino accent,
he says Catabak.
Oh my god!
Catabak.
Hey, what's up, man? My name is Ken Catabak, and he's like, he has brownish hair, so he kind of looks like a surfer guy. You would never think he's from the Philippines. Kind of like Ronnie. You'd never think he was born and raised there because he doesn't even sound. Show your forehead. I don't know how big your forehead is. It's
Why I have to keep doing this every episode?
Holy shit!
He's got Jim Earl's forehead.
oh my god!
Unbelievable! Your forehead is like here,
Yeah, I don't
and you
understand.
made it lower.
Oh, you mean like?
Which is the style now. Jokoy's son's like that. He has an afro and it's here. Like you don't even see his eyes. He's like a dog. It's like a poodle. Is that a new style
like
for kids? Is that a new style? Like fluff your hair like that?
This is just how my hair is.
No, it isn't. You permed it, didn't you?
No, this is real. This is my Filipino.
That's natural.
This is the Filipino.
That's black.
Well, I have a bit
nice
of
clothes.
what is it? What is it called? I forgot the name. Aita. I got Aita in me. If you know what that is.
That's like another form of igorot.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, it's the ones that don't have a loincloth. Yeah, I seen those.
Yes. Exactly. Those. Yeah. Free.
Very free.
Oh my god!
That's crazy because your hair reminds me of Red's hair. Remember Red? You know Red, right, Justin? Red,
Yeah, Red.
Our friend. He was on. It was one of our episodes. He has your hair, but he's a wrestler, a pro wrestler, like
wrestler.
WWE. He's like 300 pounds. He actually looks like if you gain 150 pounds, you could look like him. So guess what? In 1 year, we're gonna have him back, and we're gonna freak him out when we make you gain 100 pounds. Both of them will be just staring like this.
He could definitely have. Yeah.
You have the same curly hair.
I think they're the like the Aborigines of the Philippines, like that part.
Yeah.
I'm looking at them right now on Google. Yeah, they're more the Aborigine.
And your
Probably
hair goes
tower
to-
over. You tower over Red because you're 6'1".
Red's
6'1".
6'1" also.
Red 6'1" as well.
Yeah,
he
man,
is.
he's tall.
Wow.
He's big. He's a big boy. Like he's the one that brings me and Justin out to all the craziest food places in the Philippines, and it's unreal. He brought me to a palabok place that just makes all different types of palabok.
That sounds awesome.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like this the bihon palabok, and then the canton palabok, and then the rice noodle palabok, like 20 different types of palabok. It's unreal. Some of it has actual chicharron on it, and then dried squid.
That's the best.
I'm jealous. I hope it survived the pandemic.
It was just in someone's backyard, so I'm sure it's fine.
Oh shit! Okay.
Yeah, they just put a sign there.
What are you eating, Ivy?
Yeah, Ivy, you're eating the way you're eating that is really bothering me.
I like it.
You make whatever you're eating so scrumptious looking. I have no
Oh,
idea.
wow.
Kit Kat.
I've never wanted to eat a Kit Kat so bad.
I've never seen a Kit Kat eaten that way.
In layers,
like-
I know.
Yeah.
I feel like it screams serial killer. I promise.
Eating it in layers. I've
I
never
don't
seen
know.
anyone eat a Kit Kat in layers.
I can't stand the idea of having the 4 things and then just biting into it. Like somebody texted
So-
99% of the world.
So you don't
Yeah.
like Big Mac? You don't like eating Big Macs then? It's got like extra bread in the middle.
One layer at a time.
exactly. With a fork if I have to.
Well, at first I thought you were eating a Twix and you were just scraping off the caramel on top.
I honestly
I feel
thought you were
like that
putting brown makeup on. I thought you were putting brown lipstick on, and I'm like, fucking Oakland, obviously. No, really. Your Oakland side comes out in your comedy. It's just so raw.
I mean, I'm
You're
from
from-
Hayward, but I guess that's pretty close, right?
Hayward's really close. Come on. That's like,
Yeah, Hayward is close. Hayward's like 5 exits away, depending on which freeway you're looking at.
when did you move to Hayward?
We moved to Hayward right after we lived in Chicago, so like probably
Oh my God,
early,
from
yeah,
Chicago
like,
to Hayward? How many people have you punched? Like, honestly, have you gotten a lot of fights going on? Chicago
that was
to Hayward.
Okay,
really?
first of all, that was in high school. That was in high school. I was a good kid. Yeah, no, we moved from Manila to first to Chicago and then Charlotte, North Carolina, and then Hayward because we lived with my dad's brothers for like a few months while we were getting like settled in, and then when my dad found work in the Bay Area, that's where we ended up going. We stopped in Daly City, of course, and then we found a place in Hayward, and so that's where we've been ever since. Like there was 1 year where we moved to San Diego for like middle school because my dad's work sent us there. And then they took us right back after the job was over. So that's the only place I've ever lived in. Like, really.
You know what? A lot of Filipinos have done that route. Rex Navarrete from Manila to Chicago to the Bay. And how old were you? Like 15, 10, 12, or even younger?
Yeah, dude, I was very, very young because I was born in 1981. I turned 2 in North Carolina in 1982, 1983 ish. Sorry, my math is off, and I'm also like a little high. But like, yeah, that's I've pretty much been in the U.S. since I was like 2.
Right.
So, so you don't remember the uncomfortable in between stages of the transfer? Because I know my cousins who came at 14, 15, they hated the transfer. They're like, "Oh man, this is the worst. All the people in school suck, and I have an accent, and
Oh yeah,
my
absolutely.
dick is smaller than everybody's." You know, it's
Although-
like
hormones are kicking into.
So
yeah.
I don't know what that would have been like for because I had older cousins that experienced that, and so for me, because I always grew up in the United States, it wasn't weird. The one thing that was weird was when I was in kindergarten, they tried to put me in ESL because I had an accent. Because my parents spoke English to me because they wanted us to learn English, but their English was like with a Tagalog accent, so that's why my voice came out sounding like that, even though all I spoke was English. So it took them about 6 months to be like, okay, you know what, this bitch only speaks English. So that's what happened. But yeah, they put me in ESL for having an accent, basically, even though all I spoke was English.
That's so funny. My friend Mark DeBonis and Dave Marhaj, us three were in LA. We went to get coffees, and they're very street slangy when they speak.
Yeah.
And I think she was Korean or Japanese that was serving them, and she spoke really well. Her English was perfect with a little accent, and she was like,
Yeah.
"What is lit? What do you say? Whoa!" Like she was just like, "What?" And they're like, I'm just saying, you gotta get. I just want to get my drip on. And they're like, she's like, "I don't understand what you're saying. Are you from here?" And they're like, "Yeah, we're born and raised in America, Canada." And she was like, I really don't understand. And then they thought they should have go back to school and take ESL.
Oh my
so
god!
They could learn proper English. So I actually stopped them on. They filled up the forms. They really felt bad.
Oh my
They're
god!
Like, we sound like idiots. We have to learn English again.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, just two
so weird.
North Americans in a fucking in a classroom with immigrants, and they're all learning how to speak English over. Because some people's slang is so thick, dude. I'm like, you better just go back to school because what you've learned on the streets it's not even in the dictionary yet. Because it's if you know the coolest words and the latest and greatest terms and shit.
Yeah.
Nobody knows what the hell you're talking about. You might as well go back to school.
It's too advanced.
Yeah, like I just learned about drip.
AP level.
I just found out on fleek is not a word anymore or a phrase.
What?
It's not.
I just made shirts. Okay, there goes 1,000 shirts.
Ronnie, isn't on fleek not cool to say anymore?
I haven't heard someone say that in 2 years.
Oh my
That's
god.
what I mean.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, you remember dabbing?
What was
People
that?
used to dab. 3 years ago. No one does that
Oh,
anymore.
this dab?
No.
that.
Damn.
Yeah.
My kid used to do that shit. I'm like, he used to do this with all his pictures. And I assumed that it was sort of like how Bill and Ted do this, you know? So I thought, cool, maybe he's going to be doing that for a while. And then he was like, nobody's done that in like 5 years. He was like, that was elementary school. I'm like, what?
I thought it was a
13.
Native American dance.
Jacob,
You know how
Jacob
they do
is
that
13.
in the Native American dance?
Speaking of dancing, I want to show you this video of Justin's little brother. Justin has a little brother that he just found out of like 5 years ago. And
What? That's it.
he's a little fat, little cute kid. And this is him. That's a black guy, but that's Justin's little baby brother doing
State the
perk.
obvious.
That's my Ayeta brother right there.
Oh, cute.
Really going at it.
Oh, that's cute.
Do you want me to play the whole thing? It's the whole minute of this.
He does that,
You could
and that's the
stop.
short version. He did it for like 5 minutes straight.
5 minutes straight. Like
Yeah.
you thought it was a GIF.
It's something on YouTube that kids watch, like something like the
He's
Stickman
mimicking
dance,
something.
the Stickman dance or whatever that thing is.
Oh, this is like a trend.
Yeah, or it's something these kids are watching and they do this silly dance, and,
Yeah, I don't know
it just
about-
literally it's 2 moves.
I don't know about it on YouTube. I know the ones on TikTok, but not YouTube.
It's too much. Like, I, honestly, if you watch this video, he does the exact same movements perfectly. Obviously, his balance is off because he's fat, and so
Yeah.
he's flopping around the place, right? But, dude, 5 minutes straight, and I'm like, he's going to get a headache. Like,
Wow, he enjoyed it.
He
unreal.
looks like he's having a great time.
We're the ones getting a headache.
Like he went in hard for like 5 minutes.
I wonder how many
No
pieces-
breaks.
How many
He didn't break a
pieces of cake
sweat.
was that?
Are you serious?
He didn't break a sweat. He just kept doing that. Like I don't even know what the dance is. Like it's like a marching in place. And
Let's see.
like
He's hitting it. He's hitting his
does-
hand. See,
Are there other
was like-
people in the room?
No, there's just him in a corner. It's his birthday, right?
someone's birthday, and like a couple of adults are trying to follow his dance. You know what it was? He was trying to lead everybody in doing a dance with him.
Oh no!
Like,
Oh,
But
Like a-
nobody,
like a-
nobody
like a dance
jumped up
instructor.
and danced. It was just him for 5 minutes, and he stopped.
It was like him. They played the song. It was him and like a couple of adults trying to do it.
But here's the funny part too. Everybody's laughing at him because they can't stop laughing, and he's ignoring. He's so focused on this dance.
Yeah.
Like it's like whatever. This is the coolest shit ever with my socks and my.
He's having fun.
it's great.
He
Yeah.
does not care.
That's drip. You see that socks and sandals, right? That's drip. You know what
was,
I'm saying?
Really?
was that what the kids call drip?
This is drip.
Drip is
Straight
supposed to be
drip.
cool.
This
Drip is
Waco.
socks and sandals.
Is that like that the new term for it?
This is drip, bro. This is drip.
Are you saying drip is just cool? Like socks and sandals is cool? Or are you saying that specific style is drip, socks and sandals?
It's just drip, man.
No, drip is like cool.
Oh, okay.
Like socks and
Drip.
sandals is what Alanis Morissette started.
Dude, remember how like all the
Birkenstocks with socks.
Asians were going out like that in like I want to say early 2000s. Everyone thought it was weird.
Yeah.
Like it was literally like their house clothes, and they would just go out wearing like socks and
Basketball and their basketball shorts and
basketball
shit.
shorts. Dude, I used to do this shit too. I didn't even know it was a style. I was just fucking lazy to go to Blockbuster Video.
Blockbuster.
Or Hollywood Video or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And I remember people would stare at me like it was crazy. But everyone started doing it. Like how many years later? How wild is that?
Now they call it fucking athleisure.
Oh my god, it is.
Athleisure.
Look, it is drip.
You know, like
Justin Bieber.
I see a lot. Before it was big. Now, like a lot of black guys were doing it. You know, especially like basketball players. Like you see them at the gym or like playing street ball, whatever.
Yeah.
He's pretty much as cool as Justin Bieber.
I mean, the NBA does it a lot, right?
Yeah, and also homeless people. I seen a lot of homeless on Hollywood Boulevard have the fucking socks and the Birkenstocks or sandals underneath.
I feel like it's a
like,
very Hollywood Boulevard look in general. If we're being
It
honest.
is.
Yeah.
Remember when
the dad thing has gotten cool? You know,
Oh,
This
The
is
guy
like
in
a
the back,
dad.
and the back left, the dad.
See, that's like they switched generations. Like this guy should be. He's
The
wearing
dad
something
look
that's
is
way
cool.
too young.
Now he's a
Yeah.
guy wearing like Tommy Bahamas and shit, you know?
Holy shit! Style's
There
so
was an old
weird now.
cartoon called King of
Remember
the
when,
Hill, and one of the characters used to have socks and sandals.
Remember when it was cool to wear just jeans and sandals with no socks?
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Holy shit!
Remember that
That
shit?
was so ugly.
You would always see all these white dudes dressed like that because the fucking Abercrombie and Fitch mannequin was dressed like that.
Right, with the flip flops, and it's like, God, flip flops are just not for everybody. Like pedicures,
No
like
sock.
if you're not committed to pedicures, then you don't deserve to be within 10 feet of a flip flop.
Yeah, that's why you got to wear the socks.
Yeah.
Or
I remember
like,
guys would show up to the club like that. Flip flops, no socks, jeans. I'm
That's
like, how are these guys
unhygienic.
getting it? How are they getting in here?
I always hear people say that the national, like that the flip or the footwear of whore bags is the Adidas, like the Adidas slide. Like, do you guys agree or not?
I disagree. It's barefoot. Every white girl walks barefoot after the club. If they
why is that a thing?
About white girls being barefoot?
Yeah, I mean, I see it in Australia a lot, but I mean,
All over the world.
Yeah, but after a club, do you
After
do
the
that
club.
Ivy walk with your no shoes
'Cause the
after
heel-
a club? Hold your
Well,
heels.
I'm gonna be fucking 40, so absolutely not. Like when I was maybe 22, maybe I would have done some dumb shit like that. But even then, like I've always been like, why am I going to put my pedicured feet on the nasty ass ratchet ground? So no matter what, I have like some sort of flip flop in my car. Even if it's my dad's slippers, I always got something in my car.
You know, I went to a Gwen Stefani concert. No doubt. And I know. So basically, I met Tony Canal through Russell Peters because they're both Indian. I guess that's why they know each other.
Sure.
And Tony Canal is the bassist and Gwen Stefani's ex-boyfriend. And so,
Yeah, the blonde one.
yeah, the blonde Indian guy,
Indian.
right?
Yeah.
And so Russell's like, hey, do you want to go out to lunch tomorrow? I'm like, sure. Yeah, and we're going to go out with Tony Canal. I'm like, from No Doubt? Like, I was a big No Doubt fan since I was 18. My cousin, Jeannie, brought us to a Gwen Stefani No Doubt concert in 1991 before Just a Girl. And there was only like 100 people there, like high school kids.
My last boyfriend was born in 1991. My God. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, in Irvine. It was like an Irvine school. And then after they blew up the year after, then so I was a fan. And then when Russell said, let's go meet Tony Canal, I lost it, but I didn't want him to know that I was geeking off him. So I know everything about his life, but I just didn't want him to know that. So
Right.
whenever he said something, I knew. But so the conversation was easy. And here's this. I go, hey, what's up, man? My name is Ron. He's like, hey, I'm Tony from No Doubt. I'm like, no what? And he was like, no doubt. I'm like, oh yeah. And after, I know he likes Doc Martens, and I know he likes Jamaica. So I would come up with these stupid lies. I'd be like, I was like, how you been, Ron? I'm like, good, man. Just flew in from Jamaica. And he's like, what? And I'm like, yeah, I go there all the time. I never been there before. And like at that time. And after I was like, oh, cool. Where you from? He goes, oh, I go to Jamaica all the time. And I'm like, oh man, you don't know nothing about Jamaica. And he was like, oh, this guy knows so much about Jamaica. And then after that, I was wearing my steel-toed Docs. And like, I go, these Docs are, I gotta get new Docs. These are old. And he's like, where'd you get those? I'm like, man, you don't know nothing about Docs, because I know he collects them. So he was like, dude, man, tell me where you get those. I never seen those Docs before. And he goes, hey, call me and send me, tell me where to get it. So I had to look around Hollywood to find it. And I found a place. And then he was like, hey, if you ever want to, Dave, my cousin's ex-husband, who's a director, directed a movie that his girlfriend was starring in. Yeah. And so he showed up, and I came down there too, because I was helping out with Dave, just doing shit. And he goes, oh my God, you're here. Do you know, how do you know everybody? I go, oh, the director's my cousin's husband. He's like, well, can you please, put a good word in for her and make sure, like, she does her job well and this and that. And he goes, do you want to go hang out? And then he gave me his number. So I called him and we started going to these Hollywood parties for like just one summer. Yeah. And then he got really drunk one day and he was like, yo, man, Gwen is married now. I'm like, yeah, yeah. She still comes over. I'm like, what? Whoa, and she's like, he's like, she actually, we still go to the jacuzzi and she's wild. I go, like as a person? And he's like, no, like sex. And I'm thinking, I thought right then when he said how crazy she is in bed, I was like, this is the reason why I'm a liar, because I got all this information. If I told the truth, I would not be there. So lying is not bad, guys. Is that okay?
I saw on the podcast now.
Oh shit!
What's some of the other information you told me?
She likes it on top. She likes to ride. That's what he said.
Whoa! Take control.
Yeah. She's like, and she's definitely like a.
She moan and
sorry,
pitch.
does she sing?
She moan and pitch.
I can't hear you. Sorry.
Does she moan and pitch?
Through
that's
sex.
such a smart question.
Yeah.
She I didn't ask that question. She has a great voice, right? Yeah. But I'm sure she does. And the way you said it was perfect. Yeah, I'd be like, I do what you did. How creepy you did. You're like, does she have a low pitch? When she comes, does she have vibrato? I would say
that's gross.
I would totally use that if I had it. You know what I mean?
But who was your celebrity that you've met that you freaked out over? Anybody? Like mine was Gwen Stefani and obviously Horace Gracie at the time, a fighter. Justin, did you geek out when you met any of your magician? Didn't you meet Copperfield or somebody?
No, I didn't. Ooh. I did freak out when I met Jasmine Curtis.
Oh my God, that's right. That's right. I was there.
Jasmine Curtis.
You were a different man that night.
Oh my God, dude.
She came to one of our shows.
Okay.
This is so funny. We
in
keep
the Philippines,
coming back to this.
Jasmine Curtis, if you're watching.
Yeah.
Yo, we need to get a mission to get her onto the podcast.
Dude.
Oh, yeah.
We should just call Alex Calleja to bring on these people.
You know what?
He knows them all in the Philippines.
We definitely should. We have access to her now. Yeah. And you could propose on this.
Dude, I'm going to do it.
Jed, did you freak out when you met Qbert?
I didn't get a chance to really meet him, but the other two that I did freak out was Dana White and Wee Man from Jackass.
Oh, no way.
Sick.
Where'd you meet Dana?
Dana, when there was a UFC event here in Vancouver, me and my friends just waited, and we waited probably an hour and a half. Then he came up with the Fertitta brothers Fertitas went to the limo, and Dana went, I'm going to say what's up to these fans, and he took a pic with us. And I think Wee Man owes Chronic Tacos. There was an opening up in the West here.
Yeah, it does.
And he came up to do some celebrity thing, and I was like, walking in, I was like, oh shit, Wee Man! I didn't know what to say. I was just like, picture?
Yeah.
Picture.
Yeah.
Just
How do you take a
picture,
picture
and I
with
was
him?
like, oh, and I forget, yeah.
You know,
I met
Dan-
Bruce
You met
Buffer
who?
at Comedy and Magic Club.
Who?
Also. Bruce Buffer,
No way.
UFC announcer, came through and he came out with these like hot young white girls, dude. Like
Wow.
young, young and hot and white.
Hey, he's gonna
I was
be
like,
next
damn
to
it,
be Me
Bruce.
Too'd. He's gonna be next. It's all coming out. Who did you meet, Ivy, that you went crazy over?
I don't think I've
Jokoy. Jokoy?
No,
I'm joking.
No. I met who did I
Rex.
go crazy over? I don't know. I don't think there's been anybody. There really hasn't. Like, I mean, I was excited that I was in the same vicinity, switched places, talked to, and took a picture with Dave Chappelle. But I feel
that's
like
cool.
I was on autopilot because there were so many other comedians around me that I
Yeah.
felt like I had to like be like cool, I'd be cool. And then in the elevator on the way back, like I freaked out because by myself I was like, oh my god! Right, just hella crazy. And then I didn't even notice that this homeless dude forced himself onto the elevator with me and started screaming. And I just waved my umbrella around like, I just met Dave Chappelle. Fuck you! And then he got off, and then he was like, and he got off, and he was like, you a crazy bitch, and just left. And I was like, what just happened? What just happened? So that's probably the one time I would have gone like starstruck ish.
You know, when awkward starstruck, not even starstruck. So me, Alex Rototo, and his girlfriend. What's his girlfriend, Justin? You know, because you said she ain't shit. What'd you say? What was her name?
Man, I blocked it out of my memory, dude.
Oh, Katrina. So Justin got drunk one time, and he just said everybody. Never mind. So we're after one of the shows. Justin could have been there. Were you there when Suge Knight was in the hotel with us?
What the hell?
So this is like when he was right about to be arrested. So basically, he was like they couldn't find him for a couple days before they arrested him, but we saw him. So he was wanted.
Oh my god!
And we're like it was literally all over the news. And we're like, oh man, this is
what
crazy.
Year is that?
The year he got arrested, which was
they're
Which
filming
one?
straight out of Compton because he ran over that guy, right?
Yeah.
I know what you're talking
That's
about.
right, in the driveway.
yeah.
Yeah,
right.
while they're filming.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
That was like
Damn.
10 years ago, probably.
Yeah,
Wow.
maybe
Oh, was it really 10 years ago?
within the 10 years, I
I
guess.
feel like
Yeah,
like
so
7 years ago.
6
When
or
did-
7 years. I can't remember, but imagine knowing he was on the loose and then you see him in the lobby of the hotel.
Did you guys
Like, this is
call
so
and get the,
crazy. So
did you get the
we
reward?
just
and
did
call the
American
cops?
American Comedy Company in San Diego. So we're all walking. We were drunk. Me and Joey Gila, whoever's on the show. I think Kevin was there. Me and Kevin were sharing the room. Yeah. So we go in the lobby and we see Suge Knight with a couple guys. And we're like, oh my God, that guy's supposed to be in jail. And then he comes up to Katrina. And Alex is right beside her. That's his her boyfriend. And she's like this. He's like this. Yo, you cute. And she's like, thank you. And then he's like, give me your phone. And she's like, and he goes, call me tonight at 2 a.m. Puts his number in, and he puts Suge, and then he gives it to her, and he looks at Alex like this. He looks at Alex like this. What? And Alex was like this. Like he just put his head down.
Oh my god!
Yeah, and then they leave.
wow.
And they leave the hotel because they went out to the street. And Alex was like, Katrina's like, no, I was like, are you going to call him? And she's like, no. It's like, why'd you let him do that? It's like, really? Do you think I'm going to say no? She's going to kill her. She's wanted right now. Huh? Yeah, he's like, why'd you do that? I'm like, I would have done it.
Right.
I would have probably go to whatever you need. Like, seriously.
That's
I
crazy.
can't imagine anyone saying. I can't picture anyone saying no to Suge Knight. Like, really? What would you do?
Or get run over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know, right? And he was already wanted, so he didn't give a shit no more.
Oh no, he wanted like
go to
one
jail.
more fucking pussy before he got locked up. Like he was just
knew.
wait. He probably didn't even like her. He was just like, I need something tonight.
You probably knew.
For US to come
I
to
would think
Canada
it's more of a
is harder.
COVID thing.
We don't even allow anybody from the US in Canada, even with an essential visa. You have to do like my cousin's husband or my director friend Dave. He left LA. He had to buy a home. He had to buy land, like property, and then he had to get a green card, which is a residence card.
Yeah.
And then he had to start a business. So he had to do all those things just to see if he could come over. Without those three things, they won't even look at you. So they even said, when you get to the border, you could be rejected. And he goes, but I just bought a home. Doesn't matter.
What the fuck?
Yeah. So him, his wife, and his child all got to go in. And they're all under visas now. And they're waiting for like the green card. But he probably spent $250,000.
Oh my god, that's a lot.
Yeah,
Holy
so
crap.
I'm just like, wouldn't it be easier to film in the States? You know, or is it States that bad right now that you can't film? I mean,
Yeah.
are you guys allowed out?
It's
are you
also
locked down?
it's also the cost. Like there's just more taxes to deal with. Like if you're filming in L.A. That's why a lot of people they film a lot in Georgia too. Like the state gives like all these incentives that like California doesn't. It's just more expensive to do it out here. So same thing in Vancouver. It's just cheaper there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it looks like it because there's like I'm getting auditions for commercials like almost every other week. So there's always something. There's always a production going on up here for sure.
Yeah, South Africa too. Like a lot of the Netflix shows are a lot of them are shot in South Africa, just because it's easier and cheaper.
Have you worked with
Everyone's
Joe,
leaving LA.
Ivy? Have
Yeah.
you worked with
Huh?
Joe?
What, Joe?
Have you worked-
I have not worked with him. I met him. Yeah, like I met him when he was at. I think he did the Improv, and this girl I knew from theater who no longer does comedy. I assume after that performance. Anyway, she
opened for him, right?
Yeah. And so I remember feeling bad because it's like
God.
she, you know, like I hadn't seen her comedy in a minute. I was a new mom. This is during my break from comedy. Ron, remember what I was telling you? I was gone for like 8 years.
Yeah.
This was during that time, so I was not doing comedy, not actively thinking about it. And then I went outside to smoke or whatever, and then I finished, and then Joe was there, and then we took a picture, and then I met him again randomly at like another bar that he was still in town. So we took another picture again. So I have 2 pictures of him, but I haven't. To answer your question, no, I have not worked with him.
But he was was he famous when you started or not yet? He was
Not
really
yet.
well-known.
Like I don't think.
You're,
I don't
you're
think.
10 years in now? 12 years?
So I mean, 2006 through 2009, and then 2016 to present. So whatever that is, however many that is. And so I think this is right before. To give you some context, he wasn't doing completely all Filipino-centric material just yet. He was still doing like the Michael Jackson singing. This is probably I want to say 2006, no 2007, 2008-ish. So that era.
Yeah.
So he was just
right
about
on
to blow up.
Right. So Rex was still big then.
He was still,
Rex, I think Rex was still sort of big. Rex would have been way bigger probably 10 years prior to that. Because like that would have been like the peak of the whole like SF state, like Filipino shows, like those types of comedy shows.
Oh my God. At that time, that was in 2000 when it rolled into 2001, Rex was ridiculous, like Napster king, you know?
My first year of college, he did something at the, I think the Asian American, some fucking place in Oakland. And I met him because I was volunteering. I was a student volunteer. And so I had to walk him from wherever downstairs was to the green room in one piece. So that was the first time I met Rex.
And he's really nice. Like, honestly, like outside of, just, in general, he's not like one of those guys that would get me tooed, like.
Yeah, exactly.
He's not going to grope you. Well, not that Joe would. I'm just saying. Just saying he's not the guy that goes for the girls after the show. Like. Yeah. That'd be weird though, because he's more. He has the Tito vibe. Like he's always been a Tito since he was in his 20s. He's like the Tito guy.
I think he knows this. You know what I mean? Because unless there's somebody that explicitly has sort of a fetish for like titos, or that would probably be the same girl that wants somebody to call them daddy. You know what I mean? Like I feel like that would be
Is there such? Because I am looking for that one.
That exists. I'm telling you, it exists. Like there's some people that if you put Jokoy next to Rex and be like, which one of them do you want to fuck? They're gonna pick Rex because they like that whole daddy thing. People like what they like, man. Like
they're gonna choose Rex over Joe, like sexually.
Yeah.
Honestly, there's no.
If you have a Tito fetish,
Hey, people like that exist. As a sex educator in San Francisco, I need to tell you that there's more than one way to have a kink. And for some people, that's people that look like daddy. Like, this is why, like, fucking people like Ron Swanson from, like, for, like, Parks and Rec, or, like, just, like, Al from, fucking Home Improvement. They like that big, like, fucking Al.
Wow.
Like, John Goodman could get pussy. You know what I mean? Like, that.
That's
there's an audience.
amazing.
There's an audience for that. There is an audience for that.
First of all, Rex cannot get pussy, like, whatsoever. So he's the extreme outlier. What do you? Let's not use this example. Okay, no, I say this because Rex does not go for girls after the show. Like Ron, Ron knows.
100%. So one time,
he does not do that.
I was in Hawaii with him. I opened honestly, Rex was so good to me.
Yeah.
Also, because here's the thing. When these big comics bring an opener, we think, oh my God, they're so nice to us. But when you become a headliner, you just like, no, I need some punk to fucking take it in the ass for fucking 5 minutes before I go up. So at the time, you're like, thank you so much. And then when you do it, you're like, oh, you need someone to die.
Yes.
It's not the same, like a college gig. You ever have a fucking headliner go, hey, do you want to open for me to college? You're like, thank you. And you're like, this is terrible.
Yeah.
It's 12 in the afternoon. The kids are not even watching. They hate me. That's my thing about comics later in life that go, hey, remember I'll let you open for me? I'm like, fuck, dude, that's not a thing. I know you helped me. Because you needed me. At that time, who else could you pick, really? Jokoy was in Vegas.
Yeah.
He was probably not even well known. Besides Jokoy, it was me. It was because Joey Gila didn't start before me. I started before Joey, so he had no option.
Joey
took
a break. Didn't he? Or
well, he had cancer, right? So he was gone. He started like at 2000. 2001 or 2, then he got cancer till like 2005 or 6, right?
Fuck, yeah.
So I opened for him in Hawaii, which was my first time in Hawaii, and it was unbelievable. Like, I couldn't believe I was going to Hawaii. I couldn't believe I got to open for him. I couldn't believe I got to meet all the Hawaiian Filipinos are not like American mainland or Canadian.
No, they are not.
They're a different breed. I don't even know where they're from because it's not Philippines, it's not North America. It's just this other energy that you're like, wow, this is not a Filipino normal energy. I feel it's a different. Right. What is it? It's something different. It's almost like in between city and jungle, like
city and jungle.
There's a lot of yelling. And the shows,
it's a level of hospitality that is just almost it's sort of unfathomable to people that are, I think, that are like mainland or like, Filipinos that were like raised on the mainland of the United States. I feel like that there's a certain hospitality we lack here that doesn't exist in Hawaii, and that's what you're describing.
100%. And an openness, an organicness, and happiness aloha is alive there. It's not alive in North America,
Not at all.
And so we did the show, and then after the show, we had an after party at upstairs. It was like a cool ass lounge at the Pipeline, and then the bouncer was like, "Hey, some girl wants to say hi to you. Just come down." I go, and she's like, "Hey, you're really funny. I was just wanting to know if you want to hang out with my friends." I'm like, "Sure. Do you want to go up to the green room?" She's like, or not the green room, the lounge. And she's like, "Can I bring my friends?" And I went to Rex. I go, "Rex, can bring this girl up and her friends? And he was like, no, just her, because it's like we don't want a lot of people there. And I'm like, okay. So it's basically all guys up there like eating and drinking. I'm like, we should bring at least 5 girls because they were there. They wanted to party. And all the other guys, comics and the producers wanted to party. Yeah. And then so I brought the one girl up and we started kissing or whatever in a corner. And then Rex literally told me, hey man, just, don't be so like that, because it makes you could get a bad name.
He said, don't be slutty.
Yeah. And I said, okay. And then I didn't do anything anymore because, it's his show and, I don't want to make him feel bad about it. But from there, I was like, okay, you're not like that party guy that normal comics are.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, yeah, totally.
One time for the show, but that's just his thing.
That's just how he is, like that's just, he doesn't party like that. One time after we had a open for him, there was an after party. And I was trying to get with these 2 girls, and these 2 girls wanted to meet Rex. So I asked Rex, Rex, is it cool if I have these girls that I'm trying to, get with, like, can I meet you? And he's like, oh, well, I'm married and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, I got that. I mean, I'm not getting girls for you. I'm saying these. I'm saying I'm trying to use you to get these girls. He just didn't like process the wingman aspect of it. You know what I mean?
Oh no,
he just didn't go with the flow.
Yeah, because he became a comedian at 19, so the dating thing wasn't really a thing for him until he literally became famous. And I think when he became famous, that's when he started to get more opportunities, because whether or not, like, say you're a player before a comedian, now multiply it by 10, because that's the amount more that you would have an option for. And even if you didn't get any dates, if you're a comedian, you can now get at least a couple eyes on you. And like what you said, the Tito vibe. Like, if he met a girl that was into Tito vibes, and camp, like a guy that's an outdoorsy camper looking guy, dude, he'd clean up, man.
Dude, if you met a girl that believes in Bigfoot, oh my gosh, dude.
Last show he had this whole stint on Bigfoot because he was living in Oregon in Pacific Northwest, and he combined all that with jokes and stuff.
Yeah,
he believes in Bigfoot. He loves Bigfoot.
He does.
Dude. Oh wow.
Yeah.
Which is weird because I guess they should have found him by now. I just think if there was a Bigfoot, they would have found him. Like,
we have like drones and shit now.
They have exactly.
Don't ever get into a Bigfoot conversation with him, man, because it's like
we're just gonna be here forever.
It's worse. It's worse than like QAnon going down a rabbit hole on TikTok. It's worse than that shit. I'm not even joking, man. Like, having a conversation with him about Bigfoot is like, he's full on in this shit, dude. Full on Bigfoot theory, man.
Yeah, when he was when he was up here, he said I was driving from Oregon to Vancouver, and the whole time I'm looking for Bigfoot.
Like, that's not a joke. That's his life. That's what he really does.
He does.
Another thing I learned about you. Jeez.
He's dressed to prepare for a Bigfoot encounter. Like,
what is
his
that
whole
dress
style?
like?
What the fuck?
Yeah, you have a net.
He's got like a Marty McFly.
So
you always have a net in your pocket.
What's that outfit look like?
He's got a Marty McFly puffy vest.
What that
clothes do?
You ever see the Predator? You ever see the Predator with Arnold Schwarzenegger? It's what the Predator how the Predator dresses.
Oh my fucking god!
He's got cargo pants with multiple utility pockets.
And
he's ready to kill and capture Bigfoot. Dude. I'm telling you. And honestly,
is he trying to kill
I think
him?
he could do it.
I don't know.
Not with his weapons.
For science.
He knows underground weird tactic shit. Like, he has survival instincts. Like, it's really indigenous instincts. No, I've seen him. He has like knives. He has pocket knives. He has all this stuff. Like, he's ready to go. And if anybody, I don't think he'll hurt anybody. But if he sees Bigfoot, Bigfoot's dead. There's no chance.
But that's my thing. Like, what's his goal? Like, what is he preparing for? Is he trying to kill him, or is he trying to like show people like,
Capture.
see, he's dead now. Like, we can all rest. You know?
No, he's like the average Bigfoot enthusiast. They want to capture him and show the world that it exists. It's almost like a conspiracy theorist thought, you know? Because
Also, how old is Bigfoot now?
Bigfoot. By the way, there's only one Bigfoot. There was never a family, and
right?
Bigfoot would be 272 years old today since its first sighting. Yeah.
So you're saying they never mated and had offspring, and
no, it's just one person.
They never, migrated across the frozen Bering Strait or anything.
This whole thing, when you look at the big footprints, it's only by itself. There's no kids with it. There's nothing with it. It's only, and they actually found hairs that they go, we don't know what species this is.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I don't know what that is either, but it only travels alone. But it's 275 years. It's basically a big Yoda. Like it's Yoda's like that.
I wonder what's its reason for living, you know?
I think he questions himself every day. I bet he wonders why he's alive.
He's really...
Why is he always hiding?
I think he's interested. Yeah, he. There's a lot of pondering when you're by yourself for 275 years.
Yeah, every time you see video or pictures, he's always like in deep thought.
He just texted me and said, "Stop talking about me." Wow, he's good. He's great.
Stop talking about
Ivy.
Yo.
Back to the girls that are into Titos, because I'm obviously. Do I look like a Tito now? Be honest.
No.
All right, well, I'm a Tito.
Don't make
46.
that face again. Don't make that face again, like ever. But yeah, you don't look like a Tito. Stop!
You look like a porn star.
Ew. You know
flick your tongue rapidly. Show everybody. That's your Tito move.
That's so gross, Justin. Ew, I can't. That's enough, Justin. You're grounded. Okay, sorry. What was that?
So, that's a true thing. What Ivy said, because one of my exes, before she dumped me, she said, they always dump me. She said, "You don't know why I like you?" I'm like, "No, like I never really ask, but I think that day I'm like, I seen all of her ex-boyfriends, and she's like, I'm into the dad look, and I was in shock.
I've gotten that too.
Huh?
I've gotten that too.
You got that, Ronnie?
Like,
Ronnie, how old are you?
I'm 25. I'm 25,
oh my
right?
God.
Yeah, so like people my age don't look like me. They look like, especially with my beard and stuff. Every girlfriend I've had, I'm gonna put them on blast right now, has daddy issues. And like their dad's always like coming in and out of their lives, and then me, dad bod, like with a beard, I really am safe, but I'm not that, I'm fucking idiot.
So you didn't decide your look. Oh. You just lived, and they liked the look though.
Yeah, I just ate whatever I wanted and didn't shave, and
Wow.
Were you called a daddy or a zaddy? Were you called a daddy or a zaddy with a Z?
I think a zaddy is actually like a really hot guy, right? Is that what it is?
Like an older dude. Like a zaddy to me is like if like Johnny Knoxville in 10 years. That's a zaddy, right?
Okay.
And then a daddy. I don't know.
Well, zaddy is George
Jed is
Clooney.
40. Oh yeah, that's also they're also like stars. It's a different thing. Like a good-looking star. Jed's girlfriend's 24. He's 40. Does she 42. See you? You're 42.
Yeah, she's 25.
You just made it worse. You should just said 30.
You can just date me.
Oh, well, guess what? Dump your hot girlfriend for Ronnie. How's that?
There you go.
If you got daddy issues.
Jed, does she see you like a dad or an uncle or same kind of age?
Yeah, the same kind of age. Yeah.
Really? She doesn't think of you as like an older man at all?
She does all the jokes and stuff like that.
Jed looks young though.
That's right. Jed does look young.
And I still act all hip hop and stuff. So she jokes around, being like, "Hey, old man," or "Hey, grandpa," but It doesn't bother me.
Wait, you're 40 or 42?
42.
Dude.
And Justin's ex-girlfriend was a model, and Justin was 35, and she was 21, right?
Yeah, it sounds about right. 34.
So did
15
she
years,
look at
15 years
you?
apart.
Like, you have a dad's body. So did she look at you like, I like this dad's body?
You know, I never asked her, but you know, I think she's calling in right now. Let's add her in.
I think she looked at him and was like, I miss my dad.
Because her dad was not in her life, right, Justin?
Her dad had died before she was born. Actually,
No wonder she went for you.
There you go.
No wonder.
you go.
You weren't her boyfriend. You were the new dad.
Oh, ew.
I'll take whatever you can get. Right.
I feel you, man. I'm on that boat too.
There's guys that love cougars, so I get that.
I get that. I don't get that, but I know people like that.
Dude,
Ivy, do you get lots of younger guys?
Ivy gets young dudes a lot. I bet.
Yeah.
The
last three guys. So the last three guys that I dated were, let's see, I think 3 years younger, and then the other one before him was 9 years younger. There was somebody that was 11. There was somebody else that was 11 years, and then 13 years younger. So 13 years is the youngest I've gone in the last couple of years.
13, 11, and what?
So one was 13 years younger. Another one was 11 years younger. Another one was 9 years younger, and the last one was about 3 years younger. So I'm making my way back to age appropriate, is what I'm saying.
You were a dirty Tito at one point.
Damn.
You learned. Yeah. You learned from the Titos. Wow.
That's hilarious. I have some female friends up in Vancouver.
What's that?
I have female friends in Vancouver that are waiting for Ryan to turn 18.
Oh my god.
You were a cast member
12.
of Titas in the City.
Oh my god, ew.
That's a real show, right?
The embarrassing part is I already know which one I'd be, so it's like, come on. Oh, for God's sakes.
Titas in the City.
That is a real show.
It's called the show's called Call Me Tita, but it's basically Sex in the City for Titas.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I'm not.
Is it a Filipino show?
Wow.
Yeah, it's on TFC.
Oh, it's on where?
Whoa,
Yeah.
so that's a real life
Right?
show. Oh shit. Okay.
It's called Call Me Tita.
Have you been with a Tita yet? Ronnie, you have to try a Tita.
So you have to date someone your own age, Ronnie. or not Ronnie.
Go for a Tita, man. They'll teach you things that you never knew about yourself.
Ron, can you tell us your Tita story, please? It's fucking hilarious every time.
Okay, let's talk about the Tita. So we got 10 minutes left, guys. So let's talk about this Tita story.
The one from she's from Vancouver, right? Is she still there?
She moved. I met her in Winnipeg. I did a show with Joey Gila, Edwin San Juan, and after the show, this Tita came up to me, and so I don't remember this. So she calls me maybe 8 years later. I'm in Australia at the time or whatever, and she's like, she sends me a message on Facebook, and I could already hear the accent in the text because her face she has a mole right here. And so her face is like, boom. And then she's like, do you remember me? And then I text her back, no. And then she's like, are you serious? I'm like, please tell me who you are. And then she sent a picture of us to get me and her after the show in Winnipeg. I go, this was 8 years ago. And she's like, yeah, but you asked me if I was single. And I said, yeah, I wasn't. And you said, because I would have loved to date you if you were single. And I was like, I probably said it. I don't know. I say that to every person I meet, guy or girl. I don't care. It's just something I say. And then she said, she's like, I'm single now. I'm like, great. She's like, so do you want to be my boyfriend now? I'm like, sure. I was just being stupid. Okay. And then she's like, okay, so I work for WestJet. So meet me. So I'll come visit you in LA. I'm like, okay, when? And she's like, when are you there? I'm like, I'm there in a month. She's like, okay, well, let's meet up. I totally forget about it. And then I get I get a call, a call from her. She actually calls me. I'm like, hey, she's like, hey, do you want to meet up next week? I'm like, sure. And then after that, I get a call from the security, the customs officer in the Vancouver airport. She goes, do you know so and so? I go, yeah. Is she your girlfriend? I go, no. Well, she's traveling with no money. So are you prepared to take care of her if she's sick or pay for her hospital bills? I go, no. And she's like, okay, that's all we want to know. And then I looked at her Facebook and it goes, I can't believe I was stopped at the border, but I'm through now. And then after that, so I pick her up in the airport and she's like, why did you not come to the gate and wait for me? I'm like, what? Whoa. I'm like, this is like a Filipino TFC movie. You know,
my
like,
God, stop.
How come you don't have a gift? I go, what? I dressed so nice for you, and she had like a gift that she got me from Vancouver or something. Because you have no gift, you didn't wait for me in the airport. I go, I can't. I have to park my car and then wait. Like I can't even go through the customs. And she's like, oh, okay. And then I go, where's your money? You're coming here with no money? She's like, I'll just go to Western Union. I go, if you think I'm paying for you, then forget it. Like I thought we're just gonna be, we're gonna meet each other and see what happens. And then she's like, oh, okay. And then she starts smoking my car, and she's like already has a bad attitude.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and then so we're driving, we're quiet. I go, this is so uncomfortable. So we go to the hotel, and I go, look, you stay at the hotel, and I'm gonna go to my friend Dwayne's house. And she's like, I think we started up in the wrong foot. And I'm like, no. And then I called Dwayne, and I'm like, hey, Dwayne, I was wondering if I could stay over for a couple of nights. It's something just an emergency. And then I looked back, and she was basically like, let's do it. Like she was on the bed. Like,
oh, shit.
And I went like this, let me call you back. I don't know why. And then so I was like, whatever. And then after that,
Ew.
I know.
You're such a gross.
I don't know why I did that. I you know what? I was young and stupid. I was 42. And then
my age.
And then I went out to do a comedy show. I go, I have to go do a comedy show. I'll be back in a bit. And she's like, okay. So I had to do a comedy, and I came back, and she's like, where were you? You come home so late? It's so late now. I go, this is not a home. This is a hotel room. And then she was like, look at all the food I bought for you. And I saw like a half a lechon. I saw a rice cooker. I don't even know how she got a rice cooker. I saw a big tray of pancit palabok. I was like,
she spawns them.
She pulls
it out of her purse. Her Louis Vuitton.
Stop.
Yeah.
It's so gross.
And then I'm like, and she's like, where did you go? This and that. She was just really mad. And I was like, you know what? We're not dating. I don't know what this is, but I took all these towels. I made a line in between the bed. I go, you can't pass this. We can't do anything anymore. This is too much. And then she put her leg over. You know what tanda is when you put your leg over a pillow? So she did that to my leg, and I went back, and she's like, "Ay!" And then after that,
so fucking stupid. That's so
this is
stupid.
The
oh my god,
shit ever.
Yeah, it's so dumb.
Right? I'm like, what the fuck is this?
It's so weird. And then after the next morning, she's like, she's like, we have to go out with my friend before I leave. I'm like, fine. So we went to a Chinese restaurant and met her friend, and she was there. She was like, I was 32 or 34, and she was 45. Her friend was 45, was dating another Filipino American or Canadian, like my age. He was like 35 too. And he was like trying to fist bump me the whole time. He's like, yeah, we got these. I'm like, I'm not fist bumping this. This is not a worthy fist bump. Right? And then she's like, okay, picture time. I mean, there's a time for pictures. You just take a picture. You don't have to say picture time, right?
Picture time.
And then she's like, she was cutting my meat and feeding me at the same time. I'm like, I don't want you to feed me.
What the fuck? Are you serious? Gross, bro. This is gross. This is fucked up. This is not okay.
This is fucked up. And then she takes the camera and she's like, okay, she's like, okay, picture time, give me a kiss. I go, we're not dating. This is not a relationship. And then all her friends were like in shock. And then she started talking Tagalog, which I don't understand, but I heard this. Yeah. Labers coral. So I literally go, I can't do this anymore. This is too much. And then I paid for my thing and I left. And that was the last I saw her.
It's so weird.
That's so weird.
Yeah. So
what the hell?
The fact that you even let it get that far.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What the hell?
Okay.
The only reason I went that far is so I can tell it on a podcast 12 years later.
Okay.
You left out some of the good parts. You left out some of the good parts.
No, I cannot say all that stuff.
No, Justin.
You know, there's other parts.
Tell us.
We can't say it.
Oh. Okay, text me later.
No, it's not.
Okay, I'll give you one stupid part. She had a white towel over her stomach while we were doing it, and then which is fine, but she had no stomach. She just was embarrassed with 2 stretch marks. Right? Okay. So I pulled it out, but her hand was gripping on it. I'm like, just move this. She's like, no. So we were playing tug of war while we're having sex.
That's gross.
Yeah, I know. It was like, and then finally I win and I threw it against the wall. Yeah. And she was like this. She's like, don't look at me.
Stop. That's so uncomfortable. Oh my God.
What the hell?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So edit this part out.
I should grab.
I mean, come on, like anybody here had regular sex stories. I'm sure everybody had some fucked up sex story. You know, that's just me.
For sure. You know?
as Ivy's quiet. No. Are you frozen?
What?
Oh.
No. What?
No. I'm just saying.
I'm right here.
Everybody has a fucked up sex story. I'm just saying. You know.
Oh yeah, for sure, absolutely. Yeah.
Like
I have a million of
running
them.
down the street with a clog trying to hit somebody after he leaves. Yeah, like there's like
like I used to whenever I was on Tinder, I would only fuck people that were within like a 10-minute radius of a taco truck. So that way, if the sex was bad, there was always I could always go eat tacos. So yeah, like I fucked that year. I fucked a lot of people in San Jose and Oakland. Is what I'm telling you guys.
Yeah,
it has to be.
You plan sex like a dude. That's crazy.
I really do. And then if I'm going somewhere, I always have like snacks in my bag. So if the sex is good and the taco truck is closed, I got fucking Reese's sticks in my bag. You know what I mean? Like that's a celebration.
Or if the sex is good, you're feeding the guy Reese's pieces.
Exactly. Best case scenario, we are sharing them.
So wait, you're eating them like Kit Kats. You were eating Kit Kats when you got here. So where did you go before this? So you literally were like, he sucked in bed. She came from a booty call, Ivy. Fucking
she had a dick appointment
at. Came from a booty call.
She had a dick appointment at 4.
Fucking chocolates.
Because I had these.
She had a dick appointment at 4.
It was bad.
Yeah, that's why I couldn't log off when you left.
Yeah.
My God.
It makes sense now.
No,
it makes so much sense.
Listen. He was all, can you log on in 15 minutes? I was like, and I was literally in this dude's bed, and I was like, no. But
you had a dick appointment at 4. realized it was shit at 4:30, and then Ron's like, "Hey, can you be on air at 5?" And you're like, "I'll be there in 20." That's what happened.
Yesterday, Ron told me about this show yesterday, and I remembered that we had this. I lost track of how long the dick appointment was going because it was clearly going very well. I mean, as well as it can when you're also simultaneously watching The Dark Knight Rises at the same time. So, you're turned on in multiple ways. And then I get this text from Ron, and he was like, "Can you log in 15 minutes?" I was like, "What fucking time is it?" I was like, "Oh, shit, I need to go. I'll be home in 20 minutes." And I was.
Unbelievable.
You should be just doing this podcast lying in his bed with the phone in him. Just you and him, just like this, smoking Kit Kats together.
No, I literally said to him, I said I gotta record this shit, but I will leave you the gummy bears and the Twix, and I'm gonna take the Kit Kat back.
That's the deal you made?
Yeah, I was like, I'll leave, because I left pretty abruptly. I was like, oh shit, okay, we can't do round 2, but here's the Twix, and here's the gummy bears, and I'll see you in a couple of days. I was just, yeah.
You trumped all of us.
Dude, like everything you just said is like fatter than anything I thought.
No.
Literally,
I love how it full circle. Like, you know, like she came in with the Kit Kats. We talk all the way to the sex stories, and then now she tells us why she's eating Kit Kats at the beginning of the fucking podcast.
And guess what? I figured it out because she's like, I bring Kit Kats with me or Reese's Pieces if the sex is if it's good. And I'm like, oh, she probably just came from because she was hungry. Her hairs kind of looked like it was on her back.
I brushed it. What the fuck?
You brushed it. But
brush it out.
But if I didn't send you that text, you would have not even make it.
So you told him no hair pulling before the appointment started. no hair pulling allowed.
First of all, I would never say that because I love getting my hair pulled. But that being said, if you had texted me, I would have just kept going. Like I might have been on camera later on with a fucking fat lip. Like you just never know what's gonna happen.
See, like most guys have like
the kind of variety we all need in our lives.
Most guys have like a side chick plan if things don't go well. You have your contingency plan is food. That's fucking amazing.
This is what I like.
It's a good plan.
It's not a dude. It's a food.
A girl could just leave you halfway through sex, and the guy who can't do shit. He's just like, I guess so. I'll just jerk off in a corner. If we can't do that, we gotta cuddle you, and not even you. I'm just talking about the average girl, and because you're like a guy when it comes to sex, I guess. That's what a guy does, right? Yeah, because
last year, like there was a guy that was coming to my room for sex, and this was somebody that I'd had sex with before, and I wasn't really normally in the mood to revisit it, but I had just gotten stood up by somebody else, and so I was in a place where I was like, you know what? Cool, contingency dick, let's do this. And then throughout the day, and I was at a hotel, right? So throughout the day, he kept texting me random things like, hey, do you want to go to this party? No, thank you. Here's my hotel number. And then like a few hours later, like, hey, I got to go back and grab some weed from this other dude. Why don't we just meet there, Uber together, come back to your hotel room? I was like, no, thank you. Here's my fucking room number. And so he basically got there at like 9:30 and, we're getting it in. And then about 15 minutes later, he was just like, do you mind if we stop and cuddle for a bit? I'm like, that's for people I like. Like, what is this? Like, like you literally, I was just like, are you telling me that are you having problems? He's like, well, I just need like cuddling. And I was just like, that's some girlfriend shit. I don't know what to tell you, but if you can't like get it up, like I'm not trying to eat cake with you or nothing like that. You know what I mean? I'm just like, I don't know what you're going to do with the rest of your night, but I'm pretty sure I'm just going to stay in. So
he couldn't get it up, so he needed a cuddle to get it up.
He wanted to cuddle. He wanted intimacy. And this is not a person that I look at and think, I'd like to cuddle. This is one of those people, like when you do a great comedy show and you're working with people that you like, and it's like, yeah, this is going to be a solid hang. I'm going to have a great time. And then, like right now. And then there's other times you look at the lineup, you're like, let's just do our job and go home. This was one of those, just do your job and go home.
Wow. Unbelievable. That's awesome.
And I'm just like, cuddling? Like, no, thank you. I was like, you want intimacy and you are barking up the wrong tree. So if you can't do that thing with your dick, then there's no reason why I need to pussy pop on it. You should just go. And so he had the nerve to order room service. And so like on his way out, I sent him a Venmo request for the fucking room service and for just the amount of time that he was late. And to his credit, he paid for it. But I remember thinking, he was like so stressed out. He was just like, I spent $50 on an Uber to get here. And I got to spend $50 to go back. And I was like, oh, yeah, don't forget the fucking food that you ordered without asking my permission. And so to his credit, like I said, he paid all that. But like, still, I'm just like, that's ghetto. And ever since then, I have been a lot more mindful about what I do and do not put into my vagina. Gentlemen.
If you did like him, like a relationship kind of like.
Nope.
Okay, but if you did, would you give him?
Yeah.
Would you give him some time to make it go back up?
If I liked him, yeah, sure. If he was somebody that I liked, as opposed to somebody that is only tolerable during sex.
Right. So there's certain people. That's true. There's certain people that are just tolerable during sex, and there's some people that you like that you don't even care if there's some problems. You just work around it. That when you like them.
Yeah, exactly. Like for me, like when I think about like people that I sleep with, like in between relationships, there's some people that I revisit often just because it's a mutual beneficial thing that works for both of us when we're in between relationships, but not trying to date each other. And then there's also people that I'm just like, okay, well, maybe if you're in town, otherwise, like I'm not going to go out of my way to go have dinner with you. Like you're one of the people I call after the night with the girls. Like everybody has their place.
Yeah.
I'm sure
there's
it's
different
like that
lanes
with
for
dudes.
this.
Exactly. I'm sure it's like that with you guys and how dudes like rank girls, but like for me or people that are not like we're not in a committed relationship, this is how we navigate the rest of our social lives.
Right. And if those people are hooked up already, they tell you straight up, you're like, hey, what do you say? I'm single. What have you been up to? Or like,
you mean like if they're
like say you're single, you just broke up with somebody, you're the in between stage, and you want to call like that person that you deal with in between. How do you say that? Do you just straight up go, hey?
We're generally always in touch. Like for the most part, like unless one of us is actively in a relationship, then this is somebody that I can count on seeing like weekly or like bi-monthly, depending on what our personal lives look like the rest of the time. And for me, the personal rule is like I don't ask questions that I don't want to know the answers to. Like there's certain things that if he asks me, I'd be like, well, what I do outside of you and me is completely my business. So I think that's why it works, is when you don't get too involved. Like we're involved enough, but not involved to the point where we're in each other's lives actively. But we are in touch, and we are like always pretty transparent about like, okay, well, I'm gonna go fuck this dude over here. So just so we know if like somebody needs to get tested, you know what I mean? Like I feel like it's only fair.
Well, you have a healthy sex life, but do you know women that like your group of female friends all do that too? Do they have that kind of system, or they have different systems?
Everybody has different. Oh, sorry. Justin, you were going to say something. Oh no. So I think everybody's different. Like for me, I've always been fairly. I can be a little open about it because it's something that I talk about. And there's people that they do what I do, but like secretly. Like they don't discuss it. They're just like very. And then there's people that have been with the same dude in their life for like 25 years or whatever, because for whatever reason they thought that their soulmate was somebody that grew up in the town that was like 5 miles away. You know what I mean? Like they thought that their soulmate was the same dude for forever. And so when they see something like this, they feel like, okay, well, I got to live vicariously through other people because society taught me that there was only one way to survive. Like
that's so fucking true. It's so true because a lot of people meet their significant other at an early age, get married because they have the classic, I got to have married, have a kid, have a house. And then when you're an entertainer, especially when you're an entertainer, it's really hard to do that when you travel a lot, for me anyways. And even you too, it's hard to maintain relationships, especially at the COVID time. And with Justin, you basically just Tinder, that's you. Your relationships is basically once every 15 years. Like it's really like that, because I guess you're picking who you want to actually settle down with.
Yeah. I think for me, and I'm somebody that's like divorced. Like I've been married, I've been divorced. Like I always knew that whatever I was going to do for a living, like comedy, like whether it was comedy or something, I always knew that it was going to be that was probably going to factor more in my life than any partner could really ever do, unless he was somebody that understood what it's like to want to put like money and working and your career over other things. Because, I'm not saying that it's right how I grew up, but that's me and my cousins are almost all of us are like that. Like we were always taught, put your career first before you put your relationships.
100%.
And as a result, like only maybe like 2 or 3 of us are like married. The rest of us are, unmarried, couple single parents in the house, but we all have like really, really good, like flourishing and established like professional careers. But of course, the sacrifice is that a lot of us are just not in committed relationships. And
I'm happy you said that because it makes a lot more sense now, because whenever I meet somebody that wants to be in a relationship with me, she always goes, why do you have to have your career number one? Your relationships, or at least your wife or your family, should be number one. And I'm like, no. Like, I mean, my career is my number one. It actually grounds me. And some people don't believe in that. They go, no, family first. My career is something I do just to make them happy, you know?
Yeah. No, my career has always been the first thing, because like, well, it's something that you bring up too is like family first. I see a lot of people, and these are for me, like the people that I see doing this are people that I've known from, you know, like elementary or just, you know, really, really long-standing friends. And a lot of the common themes with people that don't have a lot going on is family over everything, which on one hand, I get it because it's what we were raised with. But, you know, things like that, they're not respectful or mindful of other people's boundaries and families. Sometimes family can't always come first. Sometimes you can't put this person over another person just because they're technically in your family. Like, there has to be a limit to these things. Yeah,
and you can't also have your family dictate or say anything about what you love to do as your career, you know?
Yeah. It's none of their business, frankly.
Yeah, it's none of their business, where one of my ex-girlfriends was like, no, quit comedy or do it like once a week, once a month, or once every 2 months. I'm like, no, but that's what I love to do all the time first. You know, if I do replace that with something, it'd be because it's time for me to move on and have a family and do something else. But other than that, I need that. Right. Like, Justin, do you feel the same way about that?
Yeah,
like,
totally.
Do you want the family, or do you still do the career as number one? Like, COVID must have changed a lot of people's perceptions of what they used to believe in.
Yeah, I mean, I always thought career would be number one. So yeah, I agree with a lot of things that both of you guys are saying. You know, the whole mentality and lifestyle of it all. So I totally get where you guys are coming from. So, but yeah, I do that too. It's like career first, and then everything else is after. You know.
Yeah. I mean, this is a good conversation, but we have to wrap up because we already passed the hour. But,
shit! Sorry.
It's okay, but this is the new format right now. We have, you know, it's just people that are just talking shit. And you're always welcome. You know, if you want to do it again, let me know. You know,
of course,
because we'll have other topics, obviously. But this one was a good one. I like this one. This was an organic topic that just popped out because of you eating Kit Kat. That's.
Yeah. I cannot wait to hear this episode again.
Amazing. Should we do the extra just of JedRock?
Yeah.
Take us out?
Yeah. That's this week.
All right. Well, that was our show. Ivy, thanks for coming out and hanging out with us,
Thanks for having me, guys. It's good to see you guys again and meet some of you.
Always a pleasure. All right, Jed. That was our episode. Thank you for watching. Get on out your way. Get on out your way. So hard to stay. So hard to stay. Get on out the way. Get on out the way. So far away. So far away. Get on out your way. Get on out your way. So hard to stay. So hard to stay. Get on out the way. Get on out the way. So far away. So far away. I've been living in my head, barely sleeping while in bed every weekend. Once a week, keep it burning at my fans, yeah. Lately I don't know no better. Clothes off, had cold, no credit. Tone deaf,